Sheryl Swoopes, this is kind of what you get for kind of not jumping on the tide, jumping on the boat. You were supposed to go and elevate with this whole situation. Your broadcasting career, everything, Sheryl. Your podcasting, whatever you do, you're supposed to be elevating. But instead, you decided to show hate, very clear hate towards Caitlyn.
Did Sheryl Swoopes really think she could spread false stories about Caitlyn Clark all year and still keep her spot on TV? Turns out she didn't even need to be asked that question, because the Wnba has made their decision loud and clear. Swoopes has now been officially taken off all Wnba broadcasts for the entire 2025 season.
Fired, but it looked like you got fired, bro. It looked like she got fired. I just gotta keep it real. It looked like she got...
This wasn't just about one bad take or a simple slip-up. Sheryl Swoopes' removal comes after what many are calling a consistent targeted effort against one of the WNBA's fastest rising stars, Caitlyn Clark. And now the league's had enough. Wondering what really went down behind the scenes? In this video, we're breaking it all down. What led to this moment, how Swoopes is reacting, and why it ultimately cost her the job. Let's jump into the full story.
I won't be missing you broadcasting the games, because when you broadcasted the games, it was so hard for you to mention Caitlyn Clark. How are you up there talking about, you kept mentioning, oh, the Indiana Fever are doing this. Oh, Kelsey Mitchell and the Indiana Fever. Oh, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell and those girls are doing. Oh, you had such the hardest time mentioning Caitlyn Clark's name. Why? I don't get it. I really don't.
Did you know this isn't the first time Sheryl Swoopes has been let go from a position? Long before the recent drama around her broadcasting role, she had already built up a concerning history of issues over the years. While she's definitely earned her spot in the Hall of Fame as one of the WNBA's original legends, her post-playing career has been filled with repeated red flags and questionable behavior.
Loyola University basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation, accused of mistreating players. College coach is not only under fire, but under investigation after reports that the majority of her roster has decided to...
The red flags at Loyola University in Chicago were hard to miss. Back in July 2016, Sheryl Swoopes was let go from her head coaching role after nearly the entire team walked away. 10 out of 12 returning players left in a single season. That's not just regular team changes, that's a major meltdown. It should have been a huge warning sign for anyone considering hiring her after that.
I was belittled, humiliated, made to feel extremely small.
Head coach since 2013. Last year, 5 of her players reportedly transferred to different programs. And this year, a reported 10 of the team's 12 players aren't planning on coming.
Former Loyola player Kate S. didn't hold back when talking about Sheryl Swoopes' coaching style. She made it clear, just because someone was a great player doesn't mean they'll be a great coach. According to her, Swoopes seemed to attract drama wherever she went, and she wasn't alone. Other players described an emotionally unstable environment, with Swoopes breaking down in tears during games and practices, threatening scholarships, and even oversharing personal information. Being a basketball legend doesn't automatically make you a good leader, and in Swoopes' case, that gap was pretty obvious.
Loyola basketball player Kate Sohn says Swoopes caused the players to live in fear, that she routinely threatened that they would lose their scholarships or she would cut them from the team.
It made it hard to play. It wasn't about working hard and having fun anymore. It was about...
One of the most disturbing situations involved Lauren Hibbert. She said Sheryl Swoopes pressured her into signing a medical hardship form, a move that ended her playing career, by falsely promising she could stay on as a team manager. But later, Hibbert learned she wouldn't even be traveling with the team. That betrayal sparked formal complaints and played a major role in Swoopes getting fired. Now, jump ahead to 2024, and we're seeing similar behavior, this time directed at Caitlyn Clark. During Swoopes' controversial February appearance on Gil's Arena, she couldn't even get simple facts straight. She claimed Clark was in her 5th college season. It was actually her 4th. Then she exaggerated wildly, saying Clark took 40 shots a game when the real average was just 22.7. These weren't harmless slip-ups, and they felt like intentional digs meant to undermine Clark's success.
Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
What really stood out was Sheryl Swoopes' dismissive attitude when talking about Caitlyn Clark's historic accomplishments. She downplayed Clark's record-breaking stats by saying, "So is it truly a broken record? I don't know. I don't think so." And when asked if Clark could bring that same energy to the WNBA, Swoopes didn't hold back. Her response? Will Caitlyn Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now immediately? Absolutely not. Not going to happen. The lack of support and even a hint of bitterness was hard to miss.
About Caitlyn, if you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlyn should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
This wasn't just a one-time thing. It was part of a year-long pattern that ended up saying more about Sheryl Swoopes than it did about Caitlyn Clark. The pattern is clear. Whenever someone else shines or questions her authority, Swoopes tends to react with negativity instead of support. From college players leaving in large numbers to a young star like Clark breaking records, Swoopes has shown she struggles to uplift others without feeling threatened. That kind of toxic attitude eventually caught up to her with the Dallas Wings, where even her commentary became too divisive. And this is in a league that usually stands by its legends. When you connect the dots between her exit from Loyola and her removal from broadcasting, a clear picture forms. Swoopes has never really learned how to take criticism or grow from it. So what actually went down in Dallas last year?
When Dallas had to pretty much say, hey, you can't broadcast Indiana Fever game after the little comments and things you had the game before, or something like that. Yeah, I believe it was that. And Nancy Lieberman was the one who pretty much confronted Sheryl Swoopes about the whole situation and let her know, like, hey, we got to keep it this, we got to keep it that.
The drama surrounding the Dallas Wings broadcast wasn't just about Caitlyn Clark. It ran much deeper. Sheryl Swoopes was starting to burn bridges in all the wrong places. When respected basketball legends begin publicly turning on one of their own, you know something serious is going on behind the scenes. And that's exactly what happened when Swoopes landed in the spotlight and the crosshairs of two major voices in the game, Stephen A. Smith and Nancy Lieberman.
You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlyn Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop.
Stephen A. Smith has never been one to hold back his opinions, and he definitely didn't pull any punches when it came to Sheryl Swoopes. It wasn't just that he disagreed with her, he outright shredded her credibility on national TV. In one particularly brutal segment, Smith took aim at Swoopes for repeatedly downplaying Caitlyn Clark's role in the Indiana Fever's success. "Do you have any idea how that makes you look?" he fired back, his tone growing more intense. "How are you going to ignore Caitlyn Clark?" What made Smith's criticism so damaging wasn't just his massive platform, but the way he pointed out how unprofessional and intentional Swoopes' silence seemed, especially given her deep knowledge of the game. For someone with her experience, failing to acknowledge Clark's clear impact was nearly impossible to defend.
Since she was in college, I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first SBs. I've known Sheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlyn was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that there was this quote by Sheryl that said, Caitlyn was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game.
Starting a feud with Stephen A. Smith was just the beginning of Sheryl Swoopes' fall from grace. Nancy Lieberman, a fellow broadcaster and former friend, took things even further. After hearing Swoopes' comments about Caitlyn Clark, Lieberman reportedly reached out to confront her directly about the inaccuracies in what she said. That conversation clearly didn't go well, like so badly in fact, that Lieberman later confirmed their friendship was essentially over. The fallout was quick and deeply embarrassing. In an almost poetic twist, Lieberman ended up replacing Swoopes on the Dallas Wings broadcasts. This wasn't just a change in staff, it was a clear message about who held the real credibility in the basketball world. Lieberman's decision to challenge Swoopes and then take her place spoke volumes about just how far Swoopes had fallen professionally.
That's what Nancy was all about. She was keeping it very, hey, let's bring this women's game let's bring it all together. Let's grow this thing together. And the question was talking about how older people or older players in the league pretty much should going about what's going on in the league. And Nancy knows Caitlyn Clark is the biggest. She's got the eyes, she's got the fans. Let's not try to sink it. Let's try to get on the boat with her and let's grow.
These explosive clashes didn't just damage Sheryl Swoopes' reputation with fans, they completely shut her out of the professional basketball community. When big names like Stephen A. Smith and Nancy Lieberman publicly call out your integrity, it gets noticed. Networks and organizations pay attention. For the Dallas Wings and their broadcast partner, these public feuds likely confirmed what many viewer complaints had already pointed out. Swoopes had become more of a liability than an asset to their brand. With all this baggage weighing her down, how will it impact Swoopes in the 2025 season?
Caitlyn Clark just did something that no athlete has done since Michael Jordan.
Remember when Michael Jordan's name was a marketing goldmine, turning everything he endorsed into a must-have? Well, there's a new star making waves in the sports world, and she's just fresh out of college. Caitlyn Clark has landed a groundbreaking deal that's got WNBA veterans feeling a little nervous.
She's incredible. Congratulations to her and her family. Yeah. Like the crazy thing is I'm just seeing her last year when they played LSU, but she's phenomenal.
But here's the real story. Caitlyn Clark isn't just moving products, she's filling arenas to the brim. In this video, we'll dive into Clark's game-changing partnership with Michael Jordan and explore why some WNBA stars are feeling left behind. Stick around because by the end, we'll share Jordan's motivating words and reveal a special basketball stat that only he and Caitlyn Clark share. Ready to jump in? Let's get started.
He's like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, probably eventually Caitlyn Clark, where it's like individual people make an entire country tune into their sport.
1,000%.
Like hockey was never bigger than when Wayne Gretzky was playing it, and it was ridiculous how much it grew the sport.
Tiger Woods.
Imagine a basketball star so incredible that her gear sells out in minutes. Now picture the talent driving all that hype. That's exactly what's happening with Caitlyn Clark's groundbreaking deal with Wilson Sporting Goods. This isn't just another endorsement, it's a game-changing partnership that's shaking up the sports world. Wilson has made Clark the first female athlete to launch her own signature basketball collection, since Michael Jordan did it in the 1980s. Take a second to let that sink in. We're talking about a level of recognition and marketability that was once reserved for legends, and now Caitlyn Clark is stepping into that exclusive league.
Making her the first athlete since Michael Jordan to get their own signature basketball from Wilson. She also becomes the first WNBA player to get her own signature basketball from Wilson.
What really makes this deal stand out is how quickly it took off. Caitlyn Clark's limited edition basketballs hit the shelves and were gone in a blink. We're talking tens of thousands of units sold out in under 40 minutes. The kind of frenzy you'd expect from the latest PlayStation release or an exclusive sneaker drop. So what makes these basketballs so special? Each one is a mini masterpiece celebrating Clark's incredible college career. Picture this: white and gold designs laser etched with her most iconic moments. You've got the Free Up, a nod to her pinpoint shooting. Then there's the Record Breaker, honoring her groundbreaking achievements, and the Crowd Maestro, a tribute to her ability to light up any arena. And if that wasn't enough, she just dropped another collection in partnership with the $15 billion brand Hibbert Sports.
Calling all Caitlyn Clark fans, 2 new limited edition basketballs are now available at select Hy-Vee stores. The designs are part of the Inspire series that Clark is doing in partnership with Wilson Sporting Goods. The tribute ball pays homage to Clark's time with the Iowa women's basketball team, and the Dreamer Ball is designed to encourage athletes to pursue their dreams. Both are available in sizes 3 and 6 at select Hy-Vee locations.
Wilson didn't just pick Caitlyn Clark because of her basketball skills. They saw a rising cultural icon. As Amanda Lamb, Wilson's global brand director, put it, Caitlyn Clark isn't just a record-breaking athlete. She's a cultural phenomenon reshaping the game. That's a huge statement. Think about it. Wilson has been the official supplier of NBA basketballs for years and took over the WNBA contract in 2020. Now they're putting their faith in Clark to lead their women's basketball line. This is a clear sign that women's sports marketing is shifting, with Clark at the center of it all. But here's the real game changer. Clark's partnership with Wilson isn't just boosting her career, it's opening up new possibilities for all female athletes in the sports marketing world. And as we'll see, it's creating a lot of buzz in WNBA locker rooms.
And when you take into stock the fact that outside of Kevin Durant, aging superstar, LeBron James, damn near 40 years old, and Steph Curry, there's not a single NBA player more popular today than Caitlyn.
They say numbers don't lie, but when it comes to Caitlyn Clark, those numbers aren't just speaking, they're practically shouting from the rooftops. How is one player driving a surge in viewership, and what does it mean for the future of women's basketball? Let's break it down. Clark's impact on the WNBA is massive, and we're not just talking big, we're talking record-breaking. She's not just playing the game, she's changing the way people watch it. Picture this: arenas filled to capacity, TV ratings soaring, and a buzz around women's basketball like we've never seen before.
Caitlyn Clark was marketable, but she's been put over some pretty big names. In fact, some worldwide, huge, international names. Two of them being Messi and Ronaldo.
Let's dive into Caitlyn Clark's viewership numbers for a second. Her games are pulling in over 1 million viewers on average. That's not just impressive. Oh, it's 3 times the usual WNBA audience. Think about that for a moment. One player is tripling the league's typical numbers. It's like she's got a magic dial and she's cranking women's basketball all the way up.
For Caitlyn Clark, on a worldwide marketability list for athletes, to be ahead of both Messi and Ronaldo is quite impressive. I mean, she's ahead of Steph Curry. Steph Curry is behind her.
But it's not just about the numbers. Caitlyn Clark is bringing in viewers who've never watched a WNBA game before. How? By playing with a level of flair and intensity that's impossible to ignore. She's not just stacking up points, she's creating highlight reels that fans can't stop sharing. And don't just take my word for it. Listen to Mike Breen, the voice of the NBA.
The idea of some players being jealous, yes, that probably exists.
Okay.
To me, yeah, jealous, sure. I mean, would you be jealous of somebody that got $28 million a shoe deal or whatever the deal is before you step foot in the pro?
That's not just flattery. It places Caitlyn Clark in the same league as the biggest names in basketball. But here's the twist. She's not only dominating on the court, she's also becoming a marketing powerhouse. Experts now rank her as the 4th most marketable athlete across all sports, not just in women's basketball or the WNBA, but in sports as a whole. That kind of influence is reshaping the way leagues, games, and sports marketing work. So what's next? With Clark leading the way, expect a major shift in how the WNBA markets itself. Think new sponsorships, more primetime games, and a whole new level of mainstream interest in women's basketball. But of course, not everyone's on board. Some of the league's veteran players are watching this rookie rise with a mix of jealousy and skepticism, and that's where things start to get tricky.
And what a lot of people weren't willing or were a bit reluctant to appreciate was the game on this young white sister of ours. She can ball. And oh, by the way, she was a great ambassador for the game. And by the way, she came in there and looked out for everybody else. For 22 years, they couldn't get chartered flights. That sister got there and it was done in 2 weeks. That's who Caitlyn Clark is.
Imagine this. A newcomer steps onto the scene, instantly lighting up the league, breaking 62 records and captivating fans. Sounds like a dream for the WNBA, right? Well, not everyone is celebrating. As Caitlyn Clark's star continues to soar, some of the league's veterans are feeling the heat, and it's not exactly comfortable. Let's be honest, the WNBA has spent years fighting for respect and recognition. Veteran players have poured their hearts and souls into building something truly remarkable. Then here comes Clark, and it's like she rewrote the rulebook with one undeniable fact. Her game is just that good.
Try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court. Instead of playing the game, they gotta be drama because they're jealous. Instead of letting their skills speak for themselves, They gotta be drama because they're jealous.
This isn't just a few players grumbling on the sidelines. It's full-blown tension when they face off against Caitlyn Clark. Some players are coming at her with a level of intensity that goes way beyond what you'd expect in a regular game. It's almost like they're sending a message. You might be the new star, but this court still belongs to us.
From a marketing perspective, Caitlyn Clark is worth more than almost any pro basketball player in the world. If we're like purely talking about giving the money for endorsement.
So what's fueling the tension? It's not just a one-dimensional issue. On one side, Caitlyn Clark's rapid rise to fame brings in huge endorsement deals and instant recognition. On the other, you've got seasoned WNBA veterans who've been grinding for years but only getting a fraction of that spotlight. It's no surprise that this gap is creating a noticeable divide that's hard to ignore.
Which was mental. Which was absolutely mental.
And that's where the real tension lies. While Caitlyn Clark's rise brings fresh excitement and major endorsements, it also highlights a divide between the seasoned pros who've been working tirelessly for years. It's a shift that's impossible to overlook, and it's shaping the future of the WNBA. So, what's next for the league? Only time will tell.